Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here. Do I have a great show for you today? I got Mike Marino, the nationally recognized comedian. He is an amazing guy, good friend. But before I get started, check us out on YouTube, a member program. Check us out on Patreon program. Check out all my books, merch. You guys have been doing great. We got a lot of stuff coming up. I got a couple of celebrity interviews with rappers and all that kind of stuff coming up as well. I want to get everybody a little bit how I met Mike. I've been to his shows, been to New Jersey. Great guy, stand-up guy, funny as hell, does an Italian bit. I posted it. I got a lot of comments already to my email and stuff, so I thought I'd bring Mike on. Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey man, that's like the greatest, longest introduction I've ever had in my life. Screw the Tonight Show, the Larry Lawton Show. That's where you want to be.
You know, Mike, I wanted to do this interview because I wanted it to be fun, and I wanted it to be light, and I wanted it to be, I hit off on a lot of my topics of prison abuse and this shit and everything else. And today it's about fun, comedy, a guy who's making it. I want to make people laugh. We love to bring on people who understand, business in a way. You're a few years younger than me, so you're not a young kid. You look a lot fucking younger than me, I'll tell you that. Maybe you're doing the right thing in comedy. Maybe you didn't have 12 years in the joint either. So
I had 12 years smoking joints.
Yeah. Oh boy, I had that too. But Mike, let me a couple of things. Introduce yourself. With your Italian bit, and that bit, I don't know. I think that's one of the best bits, the Osama bin Laden bit and stuff. Give my audience a little bit. I'm gonna put a little link to all this stuff in the stuff below. But give us a little bit how it come about, or how you even do something like that.
I do come from an Italian family here in New Jersey, and that's real. Both my parents were born in Italy. We grew up in Jersey City, which was a tough neighborhood. One block it was the Italians and the mob. The next block it was different colors and gang members. We moved out to the suburbs. I decided I wanted to be an actor, started doing TV commercials because I looked very apple pie, especially when I was a teenager in my early 20s. But I did come from this thick Italian family with roots of eating pasta on a Wednesday and a Sunday and every night as a side dish. So I had this dream that I would get to play a mob boss someday. But every time I auditioned for a mobster movie, I was the Irish cop that got whacked in the first 30 seconds. So I figured, let me get into stand-up comedy. Started going to the comedy store, cracking jokes about the way my mother spoke, that she's not going to cook anymore, the way my father used to cigarette, and he would go like this all the time. And that developed my act. So one year, I don't remember, was when everybody was going to look for Osama bin Laden, and they were sending the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps. I got lucky enough to go on the Comics Unleashed show, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I said, you know what? If we had an Italian president, never would have done any of that shit. 2 hit men from Jersey be back in 24 hours, and the world went nuts. I mean, I had no idea what was coming. I was just talking the truth about what I thought. And then I was like, I made a joke about it. I said they wouldn't even come home empty-handed. They'd find rugs. They'd start taking different parts of the sand. They'd take rocks and say, yeah, it's memorabilia. Worth a lot of money. And then the question, so what happened when you were over there? Don't worry about it. It's all done now. You ain't got to talk about it no more.
Yeah.
And so when you're talking through the eyes of like wise guys, some people around the world started going, you know what, he might be right. That's a great idea. And before you know it, I'm getting all these millions of hits, so I just turned it into Make America Italian Again and created the web series Make America Italian Again about a bunch of knuckleheads trying to get into the White House to run the country.
It was funny because, like, when I saw you, Mike, and I saw your life, your bits on the Last Supper and all, all you come up with great. Obviously, a couple of my audience were asking me, do you have any prison stuff? Because, there's a little way to go because, I was in the prison system for 12 years with the mob, and I was with the Gambinos, and my association, I know from Nicky Scarfo to Vic Arena to Patty Amato, every one of them I was with. Vic Camuso, hung out, talked. I used to laugh, Mike. I used to walk the track with Nicky Scarfo. Now, Nicky Scarfo, he was the Philly mob boss, you know that.
Right, yes.
And Nicky used to walk the track with me. Now, Nicky was credited with killing a federal judge and I think 20 or 30 bodies. And he used to walk the track with me and he'd say, Larry, man, I'm the win my case. I don't know, this fucking guy's really crazy. I mean, you think he's gonna get out of fucking prison, he kills a federal fucking judge, you ain't never getting that fuck out of prison. But I thought about you and I said, I'll bet there's so many fucking fun, because there is funny shit in the joint with, you know, what we do. In fact, Mike, you know, for you, I wore my, you know, I'm gonna say it, my Guinea t-shirt. Young kids don't know, they used to call these the Guinea t-shirts or wife beaters or whatever they used to call them. And so I said, in honor of you today, Mike, I put on my wife beater on my Guinea t-shirt.
Thank you. I'm so honored. You know, there's some people that might take the word guinea the wrong way. I thought it was funny, and I never knew there was another term for a guinea tee. When I was a kid, you wore a guinea tee under your shirt to keep you from sweating and ruining your nice shirt. Nothing else. That's what it was. And it was basically Hanes. It was a Hanes t-shirt. And another reason why all the Italians wore them, because it showed off your muscles, plus it was a cheap shirt. You can get like 10 of them for $1. So you wore your guinea tee in the morning when you had your cup of coffee, or you wore your guinea tee underneath your nice dress shirt. When I moved to California, that's when people said to me, oh, it's a wife beater. I'm like, who's beating their wife? What the hell are you talking about? Italian people don't beat their wife. They hire somebody else to do it. Nah, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding.
No. You know, you made that funny. Like, you're right. In today's stupid political climate, and I call it stupid because I'm not political. I don't say certain things because I just don't say it anyway. But, right. I mean, there's some shit that people are just overboard with in all of this crap. And I feel for comedians. I really do. Because you live your life on that edge and that wording. And I know how I am when I speak and I get hopped up and I'm a speaker, so I'm always out there. And I say, I wonder if I could never do it because I'll end up telling everybody to go fuck themselves. But my problem is, like, I have no problem. You know, there's so many people. I'm interviewing another guy, China Mac. I don't know if you who China Mac is. He's a...
I don't know.
China Mac's a big rapper. He went to prison. He was a gang member in New York. Went to prison for 10 years on a murder or a shooting, attempted murder it was. And he's really a good activist and stuff. And him and somebody else came because somebody said some words. I'm going to mention it to him. And I don't know how sensitive people are. I don't know how much trouble I'll get in. But you know what? People who know me know I have no prejudices in me, Mike. Listen, you work hard, you deserve whatever you get in today's world. And if you don't, go fuck yourself, you know. Be lazy, I'm not gonna fucking support you. That's just how I am.
Right.
And I think, you know, comedians get a bad break. I really do think they get a bad break.
There's a lot of different ways to go about it. If you keep it real and you keep it about yourself, then nobody can really complain because you're talking about your life. And if somebody's mad about your life, well, then they got real big problems. You know, this is what it is. You know, I grew up around mobsters. I know where they are. I know where they are today. But it was not my life. So even to this day, if some mobsters came to watch me perform, I'm going to know who they are. I'm going to say their name in person. We're going to hug and kiss each other. But you know what? I'm a comedian at the end of the day. It's just something that I like having fun with. And, you know, I did a web series called The Sit Down where I actually interviewed some notorious guys that were put away, some guys who were hiding. And I actually used to do a joke, too. There's the difference between some gangsters and myself. They got caught.
Yeah.
Because when I wasn't making enough money as a comedian, I was doing things I shouldn't have been doing. You know, I never hurt anybody, but maybe I sold a couple of things I shouldn't have been selling. Maybe I knew where there was a car getting dented that it was going to get straightened out in another area by a guy that I knew, but I didn't know anything. So, you know, you all do things.
You know, listen, hey, you do things to survive. Believe me, I can tell you that. That's big time on that end of it. And let's get back into your little career, because you have a hell of a career. You know, you're 20 years as comedy. You've been with some of the great comedians out there. Give us a couple of names that you've been in the clubs and you got to know.
Well, at the Comedy Store and at the Laugh Factory in Los Angeles, you pretty much are going to see all the comedians, from guys you never heard of to superstars. We're all created equal, because in Hollywood, when you get on that stage, that audience is paying to laugh. So I've been on stage with Robin Williams all the way down to Kevin Hart,
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan, of course, back in the day with me, Joe Rogan, Joe Diaz, Andrew Dice Clay. I never shared the stage with Rodney Dangerfield, but he was my favorite. I used to see Sam Kinison way back in the late 80s, early 90s. And I was friends with Tiffany Haddish before she blew up. I'm sure we would still be friends if I saw her today. Used to walk her to her car all the time because she had a problem with an ex-boyfriend. And she'd always say, "Hey, Marino, can you walk me to my car?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." So you never know.
You talked about those names, and I'm a comedy lover. Guys on my channel, I really do. And I got to meet Rodney Dangerfield and actually do blow with him, did coke with him. I was in Bahia Mall Hotel down in Fort Lauderdale Beach. I had an account there. I was a mobster. I had so much shit going on. I was banging some broad. And this is in the morning, so I'm on my way out. I had a suite on the top of the Bahia Mall Hotel, and of course, I used to have the account. I owned a security guard company, and what a joke that was. And I was getting paid, so I'm paying off the manager, and I had a suite whenever I wanted. And it's a beautiful hotel, and I'm done. I'm about 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm going home, and I'm walking down. I'm on the suites. There's a door open, and I hear, "Hey, hey!" After I walk by, who the fuck's calling me? I go back, I look, it's fucking Rodney Dangerfield. Now, he's sitting on a couch. Now, this is fucking, it blows my mind away. On the table, he had a thing of Coke. And I partied all the fucking time. I didn't give a shit. So he goes, "Hey, come on, do a lunch." Doesn't know me from Adam. Mike, doesn't know me from Adam. The most funniest guy. I sat down with him. I did blow for 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. He's telling jokes. His eyes are big. He's fucking whacked. So, I mean, I remember after that, and this is in the late 80s, after that, it came out that Rodney had some hard, I'm laughing. I said, "This what hard fucking trouble. He fucking had fucking too much coke that night. And he had to go to the hospital."
That'll help your heart.
Yeah, but when you mention the names that you've been on stage with and probably know and had talks with and hung out with, Sam Kinison, Kevin Hart is like, he's mega today. I mean, obviously. And do you see any things they do different? I mean, did you know people and say that kid's gonna go far? You've been around 20 years, right, Mike? More, maybe? 20 years.
Nobody really knows who the next big guy is going to be. There's almost no way of telling, because I know comedians that I think should be huge, and they're not. They don't even have big social media followings. And then you get these guys that you don't think are funny at all, and they become millionaires.
Yeah,
so you really don't know who's next. You're a day away from huge success, and you could also be a day away from getting another job in a different business.
Right.
So you never really know. Then you got to wonder, what is success? I say to myself, I've been in show business since I'm a child. This is all I do, and this is all I'm ever going to do. So if that's success, I'm cool. And now let's see what's going to happen next week. Go even higher. Turn my comedy routine into a sitcom, a web series, a talk show. Who knows?
You really are a funny guy. And not only are you a funny guy, you're a good guy. I mean, you don't ever, I've never heard you disparage people, in anybody. But you're a person, you're a regular fucking guy. And you love what you do, which I respect. I think that's the most important thing. I always tell people, find what you love to do and then make money. You don't try to make money and love what you do, because it doesn't
just
work.
The other day, one of the producers of an ongoing show at the Comedy Store in Hollywood years ago was called Fat Tuesday. It was every Tuesday night at the Comedy Store. Fat Tuesday was an all-black comedy show. The whole audience was black, all the comedians were black, but every once in a while they threw in a white guy or a girl. And I was one of them. And now they're making a documentary, and they contacted me and say, "We'd like to talk to you about your experience being part of it, and what was it like for you?" And then I also was telling them about all the black comedy clubs and Mexican comedy clubs that I started in when I first went to Hollywood, because A, I didn't know it was going to be that way, and C, I didn't really care. As far as I'm concerned, there was stage time and I needed to rehearse. I don't care who's in the audience, I'm going to do it. And actually, we played prisons. And that's when you tested out your material to see if you could make a bunch of angry guys laugh. So when the other people were talking about gangs and crime and rap songs, I walked out on stage and started saying, you don't want to mess with me because I'm in a gang. It's called the Sam's Club, and I brought coupons to the big house, and I will cut a price in half if I have to. And people were like, this kid just flipped this script. And then I went, yeah, I know all about gangs because they crunch up the fingers, Bloods, Crips. Oh yeah, what about my grandmother? She got arthritis. Is she in the cripples? And they were just like, I love this guy.
You did it. You did prisons, Mike?
Oh yeah, yeah.
What prisons did you do?
From the USO comedy tour around the world, going to Afghanistan, Kuwait, Baghdad. We went to Kosovo, Macedonia, all these places to entertain the troops. And then we did some really bad neighborhoods, from what we did for the police officers, which were, of course, the good neighborhood, to the prisons. And when we went to entertain the prisons, of course, there were guys who were mostly white-collar crime, but they did have the blue-collar crime, and they mixed them in. Very friendly. It's not like they were behind the bars. I once did Folsom Prison. I mean, I'm not, of course...
Johnny Cash, but...
I'm not Johnny Cash. And I also did a prison almost a year ago, in March of last year, Kansas City. What's the famous one in Kansas? Leavenworth.
Leavenworth, of course. It's a federal prison, yeah.
And I went in there to entertain everybody. And when I went in there, I said, you know, I didn't know I was here to entertain. I thought I was here to visit my family. And they were just screaming. You name it, I said it.
And that's a maximum security prison. You know, Leavenworth was, you know, where they have fucking murderers. That's a federal prison. That's one of the penitentiaries. I was in Atlanta, Lewisburg, and so I know, and Edgefield. But Leavenworth was one of them. I have friends that are in Leavenworth, obviously. And that is, I still have friends in Leavenworth.
Oh, I went on stage and I started taking out cold cuts from my jacket. I'm like, so I came here to say hello. This is a salami. I said, well, here's some soup asada. Is Joey over here? And the people like this fucking
That's a great... So, hey, when you went into the prisons, this is good stuff. Especially I love prison. When you went into prisons, did you have to do anything? Did you have to give them the material beforehand? Or did you... No. No. Say what you want.
No. They said, you know, pay attention to what you're doing.
Oh, like you couldn't say the warden's a fucking punk or something.
You don't want to set anybody on fire. No, I didn't say anything about that. I was supposed to entertain at the White House when Obama was president.
Really?
And they read your scripts. And they were cool with what I was doing.
Oh, really?
I wasn't going to do the Italian stuff. I wasn't going to do the president stuff. I was going to do stuff about just going to the supermarket.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah, you didn't want to put it on fire. Are you that conscious when you get a gig for like a prison? Do you look at the prison? Do you look at what their level is, like security-wise, or do you just kind of...
take a look around, do some research about who might be there. You do some research about, I don't know, terminology. You're going to make sure you're up on a little bit of terms.
It's funny because if you Google Larry Lawton and you go to Atlanta prison, or you even go to prison and go to the famous inmates in Atlanta, they got me. I said, what the fuck famous? I was a fucking criminal, but they got me in there. It's really funny. And
you could do anything. I mean, I was saying, you know, it's nice to be here. I just want to let you know I understand. You know, my father did time over at, what's the island in
New York,
San Francisco? San Francisco.
Oh, Alcatraz?
Yeah, my father did a lot of time in Alcatraz. I mean, he wasn't a prisoner. He was a tour guide. But what happened, you know, stupid shit like this.
No, and is there a way to get, do they pay or no?
Oh, yeah.
I'm always harping on the prison shit. You know, they don't do shit for us. And they don't. I've never been one. I actually played against King of the Court. You heard of them, the softball team, King of the Court.
Right.
So they actually brought them into prison. But I didn't know they bring comedy in at some prisons. And
very specific prisons. And they also bring in musicians, of course, some sort of entertainment. I mean, I don't know what it's like now. Never really did anything in the Los Angeles area, but outside of L.A., went to a bunch of different places, and kind of fun. You could figure out what kind of audience you could. But I also entertained on cruise ships, so now you're seeing people from around the world, children. I make sure that I got material for everybody. I'll make anybody laugh. I'll get somebody who don't speak English, and I'll crack them up. People have a big affection for East Coast people, the way we talk, how you doing. I mean, when I first did the all-black comedy show, And I said, don't get mad at me for being here. I'm just like you people.
You people.
I'm Italian. I'm not white. And we have a lot in common. We both steal shit, but you guys get caught. And I get away. And they're like, well, he's right.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Well, the getaway. Stop waving to your friends. You're on television. What's the matter with you guys? There was this one big show, and I forgot when it was. All black audience. We were having a lot of fun. And I get a lot of respect from the other black comedians because they're like, okay, he's challenging where he might not belong. But the thing is, I'm not talking about anything but myself. So they had this whole reparation thing, and they said that they wanted their land back. So the comedian before me was saying, I want my land back, I want a cow back. So when I went on stage, I said, I hope you all get everything back because I want my stuff back too. I want my car back, I want my TV back, I want my stereo back. And they were just like, I go, I'm not saying you took it. I'm just saying I want it back.
I love that edgy stuff. That's just like put people thinking there for a second. And I love, see, when I listen, I travel a lot. And not only on my phone or wherever, I have Sirius and all this. And I listen to the comedy greats. I have George Carlin's channel. Did you ever meet George Carlin?
No.
He is one of my, I've seen him live. One of my favorites he was, obviously. He had that sense of humor that was just funny and fuck you uniform. It was just so good. I still listen to him. He's got his own channel on, listen, he's fucking doing great. He's dead for how long? So I laugh at that. But I'm always on the comedy channels because, we need this more in this world. We need guys like you, Mike. We need, everything is so fucking serious. When I do my channel, I talk about stuff, but I always emphasize it with, hey, listen, live on, make good choices, don't fuck your life up. You know what I mean? Because, listen, go out to the beach, go smoke a joint, go get laid, do something. Why are you, worrying about so much shit in today's world? Because you can't change it all. We all know that. We can do our little part, but we need guys like you more than ever to do stuff like that.
Well, hey, listen, I'm going to keep on going and growing. I come up with new material all the time. I've been doing characters in my show now. I did some character on stage one night. Somebody said to me, why don't you throw a wig on and become that person? So I do Michelle now. And there's a fan base for Michelle. I used to smoke a lot of weed when I was younger. I was a big surf head. So I came up with this character, Mooney, who's always surfing. I filmed him yesterday in the snow. He said, in the winter, you need to exercise. So I went outside with shorts on, flip-flops, and I said, all you got to do is shovel snow. It's good for the glutes. It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. It's funny. I used to have an uncle in my life, Uncle Tommy, who used to say the funniest things, but he meant it. And he used to say to us like this, your father's going to hit you before you do something wrong, just to let you know you're about to do something wrong. I said, well, what? And so I do him all the time. And I was doing a parody the other day, and he goes, let me tell you the story about Robin Hood. He didn't rob from the rich and give to the poor. The rich people owed him money because he lent them money. That's what happened. So these stupid little goofy things work like a charm because people go, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I had an uncle like that. He said the craziest things. So, when you pull from real life, even like the joke, The Last Supper, my mother used to say all the time, I've had it.
Do it,
I ain't cooking
go with
no
it.
more. But she used to say, I don't want to cook for anybody no more because nobody appreciates me. And they don't even offer me coffee and cake. So I would say, okay, this must be from the past. And Jesus' mother said, I've had it. Have your friends look at the food. This is the Last Supper. Because Jesus was Italian. And people laugh because it's kind of tongue-in-cheek. And that's why I want to develop a TV series.
When you say things like that, you process it, man. I remember that, when the Sister Mary class said this shit or whatever crap, and then you're thinking, and Mike is just like hitting on this Last Supper, who's there? The apostles and Paul. You did the whole...
I did the Last Supper joke at a church, and the guy was cracking up laughing, the priest.
Oh, I would have loved that. Oh,
They
wow.
love it. Man, the truth is always funny. It's just tongue in cheek.
Now, you've seen talent, like you said. You've been with some mega names.
Right.
But are there the names, like you said, that where would you tell my audience, all these people, where would you tell them to go watch comedy if you like comedy?
Well, of course, you got Comedy Central and you got Netflix. Me, I would tell people to go to my YouTube channel because I've been creating a lot of different content, and I got some great comedians in my show with me that I think are fantastic. So my crew of comics that are with me are phenomenal entertainers too. You know, before the pandemic, when I was out on tour, I was averaging between 1,000 to 2,000 people a week coming to these big, beautiful theaters to watch live performing. And there's nothing better than going on stage in front of all these people who are hanging on every word that you say, because I know, they know, I'm going to hurt them. I set out to hurt people. If your ribs don't hurt you when I'm done performing, I'll give you your money back. You're going to go through thousands of sit-ups. I will fuck you up, because that's the way I want to do it. I want to hurt people. And I'll say anything that's going on in the world, in the area, to make them go, he's right, he's right. Anywhere from traffic to a parking ticket, I'm going to knock you out. And especially family. And when I started doing the routines about if I were president, what I would do, it was making people enjoy, because technically we all think that way. We just don't say anything. Like I did this one speech, I said, if I was president and a disaster happened, I don't understand how the president walks out on television in his suit, he's all ready, he's got a speech prepared. I'd walk out in my pajamas going, holy shit, what the fuck happened? There was a bomb? Who's responsible for this shit? I was, honey, give me my coffee. You know, and people like, he's right. Why is the president always prepared? Why not get the guy who's unprepared? Then you could believe him because he's getting the news firsthand. Could you imagine being the president now? I'd be like this. I'd be like, wait a minute. You're saying we got to have 2 shots, but the first shot's not available, but the second shot is. But if I take the second shot first, when do I take the first shot? Oh, third? That doesn't make any sense. So why doesn't anybody say that? I would say as president, all right, well, I don't know anything about scientists or scientific shit, so stand here next to me. Let's talk this out in front of everybody. Let them watch, and then we'll go get something to eat.
I love it. I want to thank you for coming on. And
absolutely.
And I think we could do something to have a lot of fun with it, you know.
Let's make America Italian again.
There you go, Mike. Hey, everybody. That's Mike Marino, nationally recognized comedian who's hilarious. Go check his stuff out. Check him out in the links below. All that's his website and some of his clips we're going to put right there. You have a great day, everybody. I hope we made you laugh. We're going to keep doing that edgy stuff. And always remember, make good choices, have fun, and live your life. Take care, everybody. See you soon.